this fine machine here. What do we got in it?
So it's a 5.3 LS out of a 2000 Silverado, probably. I have no idea. But, miles are unknown, conditions unknown, but it's been in the car for 8 years, I think now. Completely bone stock, no cam, no nothing. Just try to keep it as reliable as possible.
And you had a video on your channel about the accessories you put on it too, right? You have like Camaro stuff or something on there, so everything clears the hood and you don't have to have all the stuff sticking out.
Like the intake manifold,
yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah, it's I want to say it's an LS1. All I know.
So it's an LS1 intake
manifold.
And then some was with the water pump too, different, or alternators usually up here on them, right?
Yeah, I think so. They come in all different spots. So I think on some cars they come over here. I think on the Corvette they're down there. It's a Camaro placement, so it's over here and it's down low.
Okay, yeah.
The alternator, no power steering pump because we're running manual steering.
Race car stuff.
Yeah. It is a LS1 power or not water pump, and then it's got spacers to space it out for the truck crank pulley.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. You can switch over to the Camaro or Corvette.
Is it like a more affordable option to do this, or more simple?
Yeah, I think it was only like 20 bucks for the spacers.
Oh, so, yeah.
Versus,
why not? Yeah.
And it's not that those pulleys are very. It's also kind of a pain in the ass to get the pulley off the crank a little bit. And,
I bet
it can be. If you've got a puller, it's real easy. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's really basic, very simple. Not a whole lot of.
And did you make the motor mounts down there?
No, that's a Ronin kit.
Okay. And then what transmission's on this thing?
So it's a Z32 transmission, a 300ZX, so like 90 to 96, I believe. And yeah, it's at the time it was a very affordable option. I think I paid like $160 for the transmission, and then for the adapter kit it was like $550. Like,
dirty cheap.
Yeah, so $700 wrapped up in to get a transmission bolted up to it is a pretty good deal.
Nice. And it's still the FC differential?
Yeah, it's the NA diff, which is like, you know, this close to breaking every time I drive it. So, but I haven't crossed that line yet.
Yeah.
So it's ever once. I think I broke it once in the 8 years I've had the car.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And then you got a new paint job, all done in your garage, right?
Yeah, majority of it was done in my garage or somebody else's garage.
Nice.
So yeah, we did a KBD body kit. I don't
throughout, and then you were cutting it, you cut the quarters off under this in some spots.
Yeah, the quarters are cut off of it because wall taps.
Yeah.
But it's a big duck club rear clamshell, rear section, so it's all wrapped around. It's actually a really pretty good product, actually.
Nice.
Like when they mold it and everything, it still has like all the factory sheet metal like design and everything.
Oh,
so
nice.
like, and it shows you where like all the holes go and everything.
Yeah, because that looked like part of the original car.
Yeah, it looks, so it's like the same like cast like right off of it. So you even know where like your bolt holes go, where you should drill, and your lights and everything.
And you used to have like a dual radiator thing in this, right?
Yeah, it still does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's two. The radiator's mounted right here.
Oh, and that's what that plate's for, to keep it out, the heat out?
I guess, yeah, I don't know. I just like it, it looks cleaner.
Yeah.
And so your spare tire on a FC usually goes right there.
Oh.
So it's like a perfect spot for a radiator.
Oh, yeah.
And so I put a radiator in there, and then there's two fans.
Okay.
So it acts like a really big heater core.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, when you're pulling a grade in your truck or whatever, there was like, put on the heater to cool it down, you know, or whatever. If you're overheating, it's kind of that premise.
And it's off the heater plumbing,
yeah, it's
right?
right off the water pump, off the heater core line. So it mimics that.
Helps it out.
Yeah, it's not 100% necessary, but like when we were out there, right? Like you saw, I looked down at the temp and it was like 210, which isn't a big deal. That's like normal operating temperature. I like click it on and it'll.
Oh yeah, I heard you click it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it definitely helps with hot lapping and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
Not a necessity.
Yeah, it's better to be overkill than not on cooling.
I think the biggest thing with LS is making sure that you you have a swirl plot, and your steam ports are like, you have a self-bleeding air system in there. So like, if you don't, that's when a lot of people have LS overheating problems, because they try to plummet like a, you know, an SR or a KA like in their 240, and it's like, nah, you need an expansion tank, so you know your air can separate from your coolant, and then like when it purges off, it pushes out the air out of the cap instead of like fluid.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it has to be continuous as well.
Yeah.
So, because I always think it's weird that like we as drifters have like excessive overheating problems, like once we start heavily modifying the car, and then you look at something like Baja racing, like off-road stuff, where these guys are doing 1,000 miles with LSs. I know they're built and all that stuff, but they're not having overheating problems. We do 2 laps and the things like cars are boiling over. So, you know, you're like, what the heck's the problem?
And we are going sideways.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, we're going a little bit slower, but
a lot of those guys are rear mount anyway.
Yeah,
so they're not getting the airflow like a front mount would.
Yeah, but I think what it is like we're removing the engineering that like GM put into the cooling system and being like, hey, this will work, and it's doesn't like GM designed it a specific way to have that expansion tank, like on your Corvettes and stuff like that. I have a bone stock Corvette with a and you've ridden in it, and I've done lap after lap after lap, and the car never sees like over like 215.
Yeah, you're running the AC in that thing sometimes.
So you know, GM got paid a lot of money. You know, the engineers went to school and did a lot of that stuff to design these things to work for 200,000 miles and cool really well. And then here we come as these like punk kids, and we're like, hey, we're gonna redo this. And hot rod the thing, and then like, why doesn't it work?
Yeah, like my BMW has a stock cooling system minus the fan.
Yeah,
it's like it works awesome.
And so I think we're the problem sometimes.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly meant to drift, but it sure does a good job. Anything fancy with angle or suspension or any of that?
So a lot of PBM goodies. So everything, rear steer to lead, bushing, solid bushings, PBM angle kit. I think it puts about like 65, 68 degrees of angle. Really solid kit, really easy to set up. PBM coilovers. It's like PBM had it in their catalog. I was like, I bought it for this car.
Nice.
And so,
and then
it works really well all together when everything's the same.
Yeah, versus piecing it together. Like I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
And you end up with some weird stuff.
Yeah, you do.
Is the cage all your work?
Yeah. So I wish I would have never done it, but but yeah, I did all the bends, all the welding. I learned how to tigged it all in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it started out as like an Enjuku cage, and then like as I was like putting it in, I didn't like how the fitment of it, so then I just started going to Summit and buying more DOM tubing, and then basically by the end I just like redid their whole cage the way I wanted it.
Yeah,
you know, and just get the best fitment that I could.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could buy raw tube at Summit. That's good to know.
Yeah, and I bought a tubing bender and everything, and I was in there learning how to bend tube and all that stuff.
I always like do it wrong, and then I give myself enough length that I can mimic what I did where I need. Yeah. Because I'm a dummy.
Yeah. Well, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and like people were giving me tips and tricks on how to like do those kind of things. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you need this. Like they have a bar that's all degreed out. Like you just bend it, and then you basically like put it, you like on it, and you're like, hey, each hash marks like another 5 degrees, like all the way through the turn. So then you can just like kind of like figure it out without having to do a bunch of math.
Math is hard.
Math is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that helped. That was a little cheat trick that I picked up off of YouTube. That was pretty good.
Nice.
But other than that, like the whole premise behind the car is just like very simple. You know, the wiring's done clean, so I don't have to work on it. The engine's set up to be very reliable. Transmission, very reliable. The weakest link on the car is, like I said, the rear end. And so far, just driving the car somewhat conservatively, not clutch kicking it a bunch, pretty much I think saves the rear end and keeps me from having to replace it all the time.
Yeah.
So drive with a little bit of mechanical sympathy.
Yeah,
you know,
for
so,
sure.
Other than that, but I don't not drive the car hard. You know, I still drive it hard, but just I'm not abusive. There's a difference. So
drive it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to come to events and just drive and not be covered in grease and working and struggling the whole time.
Yep. You do all the preventative nut and bolt checks, all that stuff.
Yeah. But just, you know, have a solid car before you get to the event, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, how many guys we see show up and they're just like off the car trailer and they're like, yeah, I still gotta wire it, I still gotta do this, I gotta do that. You're like, why did you even come?
It's always fun to watch though.
They're just struggling.
And then they finally get it going, everybody's all excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. So definitely nice to have it all fixed up.
This is supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah.
Not a struggle.
Yep.
Right. So I have been dabbling in a lot of CNC stuff. I've been doing I made the roof skin.
Oh.
Or this Elite.
Yeah.
All CNC.
That's good.
There was a company that makes them. It's LRB who makes all the door panels and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. They sell one.
Oh, and is this from them too? The little trim pieces?
No, that's some eBay special or Amazon special.
Well, it looks good.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna change them to black since we got rid of the teal, but
yeah,
it's still the hardware I have. But like this was like 120, 140 bucks on their website, and I made it like through Cut Since for like $45.
Well, that's pretty slick.
So, doing the CNC stuff has been a game changer for sure.
And there's like you were starting some kind of online thing to sell the CNC stuff, right?
Yeah, I got a couple products out actually. So I also have a C5 Corvette, and I had to make adapter plates that allow you to put a CTS hub on a Corvette and get it the proper spacing, so you can basically make it 5x114 instead of the 5x120.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it works out pretty good because you can
put good wheels on there.
Yeah.
Not just BMW wheels and Vet wheels.
Well, that and like all my other cars run that same bolt pattern, so it makes a lot of sense for me to run the same bolt pattern across all the cars. I think this is the only one that's not.
Oh yeah, you're 4 on 114.3. Yeah.
And so, and then I made an adapter plate for like taking a G35 sedan and putting the handbrake or the actual OEM handbrake in the factory spot, because a lot of people, what they were doing is like they were just drilling holes in the tunnel and getting it all wonky, and I made like a nice plate that's all CNC with the studs and all the hardware and the spacers that you need to put it in there, and then like a little plate that like holds the cable as it goes through the floor, so that way you don't have a gaping hole. You got transmission smoke and tire smoke coming up through that hole and smelling all that fumes.
Yeah, you don't want that. There's nothing worse than grabbing your handbrake and having it like move around on you.
Hey, so like the big thing is like I don't particularly look to make anything for any reason. I just, as I'm modifying cars, I find things I'm like, I think this would work for me much better. And then I'm like, well, if I want it, there's probably somebody out there that wants it too. So let me just, I'll make some for them and make it available.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, I have a bunch of like R&D stuff, but I only have like 2 products that are out in the general public. There's more I could probably put out there, but I'm just being lazy, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, well, you're working full time on top of all that.
Yeah.
And running Club Rowdy.
Yeah, running the
There's an event coming up, so everybody's got to register for that.
Yeah. Yeah, June.
Yep. Here at Affinity Circuit.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good deal. 3 days of drifting for right now. It's $145. It's a screaming deal.
Yeah. By the time this video's made, it probably won't be, but
yeah, probably won't.
Well, they'll just get to see what they missed out on.
It'll still.
Yeah.
I think the most it goes up to is like 180, and you still get 3 days of driving.
Yeah. 3 days of driving. If you guys ever do comp, the track's still open. You can hardly tell it's comp, and it's a seat time event, and you can still compete if you want. It's all good fun.
I think we're gonna do call out battles, so you get to call out your friends. That's what we did last time, right?
It was fun.
It was good. And, so that way you can.
Yeah, your son scumbag just into it.
It was good though. It was a lot of fun, and it makes for a good time when you can call out your buddies, because like when you do a comp, like everybody kind of gets put into the bracket, and you don't really, like, a lot of people like to battle their friends and see who do better, but that doesn't work out that way. And this kind of gives you that ability to be like, hey, I'm calling out so we're gonna, and then you guys actually get judged and like, hey.
And you guys are right to the point too. Like one more times are almost non-existent. It's just like, just drive better if you don't like it.
Yeah, we don't try to do one more time. So
yeah, just
pick a winner. Like,
yeah,
the judges, they do one more time. It's like, because it's almost like they're too scared to make a decision if it's too close. And it's like, just make a decision, dude.
Yeah.
You guys are the judges.